a road trip to unreachable places in Death Valley. Ask me what my favorite place in America is. My immediate response will be Death Valley National Park, a place of high peaks and record-low salt flats, a place of indigenous rattlesnakes and protected pupfish. From wagon trains to borax haulers, from historic mines to famous burial sites, and from a palm tree ranch to Joshua Tree Flats, and of course, record heat. Did I mention Tea Kettle Junction? It's a place of almost endless wonders, but the unbelievably beautiful surreal landscape has been formed from turbulent weather and catastrophes. So why should we expect that to stop now that this is a national park? In this video, I provide views of places that are currently closed in this massive national park due to flooding and from hurricanes the last several years. This will be a more relaxed narration. The footage is captivating. Of course, it's Death Valley, and after watching, you will understand why this is my favorite place in America. Even though these locations are closed, they will open again, and we will all be able to enjoy them again, or in some cases, for your first time. We waited a decade to be able to visit Keene Wonder Mine, which had been closed because a visitor did something he wasn't supposed to do and died out there, resulting in the mine area being closed for years. Do not let this stop you from visiting Death Valley National Park, because this is not a half-day kind of place, it's a lifetime kind of place. We have been there 20 times, and although we impress the park rangers with all that we have done, there are places we have not yet gotten to. But as I often say, let's peel another layer of the onion. Well, Death Valley is a supersized onion. In my book, Off and On the Beaten Path, the Unclassic Road Trip, Western Edition, you will find California, and the entry for Death Valley consumes over 10 pages. To give you some contrast, most entries are a paragraph or two, with major places having maybe 1 or 2 pages. So fuel up, pack the backpack, take lots of water, and allow plenty of time to experience Death Valley National Park. Remember, this is a show and tell about the places that are currently closed because of devastation, and we must all wait for road repairs to be able to travel to these incredible places. Travel across America with me. Death Valley's Decade of Devastation. The first time we went to Death Valley was in 2007, so almost 20 years ago, and we have made 20 visits to this fabulous park. There is so much to do, and even though there has been a decade of devastation, which I want to talk about today, I want you to know, don't fret. You've got to go, because the one thing about this park is it's a return and return again and plan your next trip kind of place. I believe it was the second visit. While in the visitor center, I bought a book, and at the end of the book, the author said that when he left Death Valley for the first time, he looked back over his shoulder and said, "Goodbye, Death Valley, I'll be back," or something to that effect. It didn't really make sense to me, but once you go to Death Valley, and the beauty and the solitude and the intensity of this place might just grab a hold of you also. And every time and as you leave, you'll look back over your shoulder or in the rearview mirror and say, "See you next time, Death Valley." But I want to tell you just a little bit about the devastation. There have been 3 major floods, the first one being in 2015. Now you think of Death Valley as dry and desert. Well, that's the problem. You see, floods shape Death Valley. They always have. Rainfalls that seem moderate by standards of less arid regions can have major effects in a desert environment. Partially due to sparse vegetation, desert soils tend to be hard-packed and don't soak up water quickly. Steep slopes in Death Valley also tend to shed rain rather than absorb it. This water ends up channeled in low spots such as canyons and can very suddenly cause flash floods. Flash floods can cause very expensive damage to roads and infrastructure, as you will see. They can also be very dangerous. Never drive across active flooding and avoid hiking in canyons where there is a risk of rain. Yet these same flash floods are a major force behind the stark beauty of Death Valley. Flash floods move debris to create the alluvial fans that spill out of canyon mouths. Yes, water can be devastating, but it also can create vast and grand beauty as experienced at Death Valley. I want to show you several places that have been closed, one since the flood of 2015, and show you what you might be missing. But don't let this stop you from going to this fabulous place, because there is so much to do there. We've gone 20 times and haven't done everything. And of course, there's things that we repeat because you just got to go back to some of these places. And over this next year, I'll be taking you to more places that we have visited in Death Valley National Park. I do want to warn you, though, it is best to go on the website and get an update on roadways and how this might affect you. This is a ginormous park, and traveling great distances are required to go from one great place to another. So you want to make sure that you are very clear about what roads are passable and what ones are not before you plan your visit. Things can change. One devastating rainfall can change the whole place very quickly, because you don't want to drive up to one of the entrances and see a sign that says this, road closed, because popping into the park from another direction will involve miles and miles and miles. Be informed. October of 2015 brought a series of unusual storms through Death Valley National Park. Flash floods destroyed significant portions of multiple roads and heavily damaged historic structures. Add Scotty's Castle. Now, Scotty's Castle is one of the most famous structures in all of the park. On Sunday, October 18th, 2015, the storm caused extensive flash flooding in the Scotty Castle area. The flash flood devastated Bonnie Claire Road, better known as Scotty's Castle Road, and this is one of the entrances to the park from Nevada. The flood washed away about 70% of the pavement and many flood protection structures. In places, it left cuts over 8 feet deep across the road. Ironically, Bonnie Claire Road was reconstructed only 4 years earlier. The flood was so massive that it changed the shape of the canyon's flood channels, and future floods will take a different path. So redesigning the road again is necessary. Now, this involved the 7.6 miles of Bonnie Claire Road from the Ubehebe Crater intersection to the park boundary on the east side of the park, and they expected it to be opened within a couple of years. Scotty Castle's area averages 4 inches of rain per year, yet it received over 3 inches of rain and hail in just a 5-hour period, after the ground was already saturated from preceding days of rain. I have to tell you, that road in Scotty's Castle is still not open as of 2025. What a shame. I'm not sure what's taking so long, but just realize you can't enter from that direction and you still cannot go see fabulous Scotty's Castle or Death Valley Scotty Walter Scott's grave. The park now says it is unlikely to open before late of 2026. That is 11 years. There's no foot, bicycle, motorcycle, or vehicle traffic allowed at all. Please take a second to subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet. Thank you. Those flash floods also damaged Badwater Road. Then, on August 5th, 2022, Hurricane K caused road closures in Death Valley again. August 5th, 2022 is recognized was recognized as the rainiest day in Death Valley's history. Death Valley National Park received 1.7 inches of rain. The records are recorded at Furnace Creek. This is called a 1,000-year rain event. The rain that weekend was a historic event with nearly a year's worth of rain falling in 3 hours. Additional storms on August 16th and 18th created more damage on Badwater Road and Dante's View Road. Fortunately, this is California Highway 190 and was repaired rather quickly. Death Valley National Park contains 1,417 miles of roadways. 60% was significantly damaged, 23% was heavily damaged, and 17% was destroyed in the deluge of 2022. This caused severe damage on California 190 between Zabriskie Point and Furnace Creek. This is one of the major roadways to the heart of Death Valley. Hurricane Hilary delivered a year's worth of rain in one day. On August 20th, 2023, the former 1.7-inch record set on August 5th, 2022, was broken when a recorded 2.2 inches of rain fell and was recorded in the rain gauge at Furnace Creek. Higher amounts of rain fell in the mountains. We visited shortly after this historic event and were able to capture pictures of the equipment repairing the roads. Now, let's talk about some current and continued closures. Like I mentioned, the road to Scotty's Castle remains closed after almost 10 years. The northern entrance of West Side Road is closed because of a deep cut in the road. This is a 37-mile high-clearance washboard, deep gravel, and dust-pocketed road. There are many sights to see along West Side Road, but due to this road closure, if you want to travel West Side Road, you will need to enter from the South End, which is not far from the beautiful Ashford Mill. What a great place to take desert photographs with this amazing mill in the foreground. We have traveled West Side Road on numerous occasions. Emigrant Canyon Road will have extensive closure beginning now, here in January of 2025, because they're trying to armor the road to make it more resilient to future floods. And Lower Wild Rose Road is also completely impassable. Now, these are your connecting roads that will get you to Agaraberry Point, Pete's Camp, and his Eureka Mine. These are fabulous places. You would also access Wild Rose Charcoal Kilns, Wild Rose Peak, and Telescope Peak. So if you're planning an adventure to there, be sure to check the roadway to make sure that you can reach these fantastic, phenomenal places. Darwin Falls Road is completely gone in many places, and it will need either extensive import of road fill, which is very expensive, or mining of gravel from the nearby wash, and that's going to require all kinds of environmental reviews. So who knows how long this will take. But at this point, hikers have to park on the shoulder of California 190 and walk in. It's such a shame. Darwin Falls is one of the most beautiful places to visit in Death Valley. And this hike wasn't all that big of a deal, and now it's become a much longer hike. Then there's Salt Creek. Flooding destroyed the boardwalk, the restroom, and the parking area, and it's not expected to be open until this summer. I hope that really happens, but based on some of the other timing and priorities, I'm not sure that this summer it will even be open. And this is a very unique and gorgeous trail to take, and very easy, because it is primarily boardwalk. Now, one of the most fabulous drives in all of Death Valley, if I could say that, that sounds like a crazy thing to say because the whole place is so intriguing and fabulous, is Titus Canyon Road, and we have traveled this road 3 times, but due to flood damage, the entire road is closed, likely not to open before 2026. The lower Titus Canyon section to the Fall Canyon Trailhead does remain open, but Titus Canyon Road, oh my, it is one of the most gorgeous and exciting and thrilling roads in all of Death Valley.
Not a lot of room.
No, not really.
Got a wall on one side and, well, nothing on the other side.
Well, it's something. It's a sheer cliff.
It's a long ways down there. This place is amazing. No wonder these guys never wanted to leave.
I don't ever want to leave.
Really?
This is our 19th time here. I love this place.
Look at that curve coming around, huh? Look at that thing.
So I just want to remind you, you do not want to see this when you arrive at Death Valley. Double check and confirm that you can access the places that you want to see there. Research before going to this park is almost more important than any other place you will ever visit. Flip-flops on the ground. Unclassic road trip. Have you subscribed? If not, please subscribe. And if you have, thank you. Tell a friend about my channel. Be sure to watch all the other fun and exciting places across this wonderful country on my Unclassic road trip.